the different types of your in the previous class we were discussing on regarding the different types of fitting and fastenings that will be used in your permanent track, right? We have seen in the previous class. Now, in today's class, we will be going to discuss regarding coning of wheels. Okay, today in today's class, we will be discussing regarding the coning of wheels. Okay. Now, what do you mean by coning of wheels? Okay. What do you mean by coning of wheels? Right. Do you have any idea regarding coning of wheels? I think with this particular picture, you can able to tell something. Okay. With this particular picture, what kind of an idea you are getting regarding the coning of wheels? Do you have? Are you getting any idea on coning of wheels? Yes.
Making it shape
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Shape, sir. Shape not
With
ಕೊಡತ್ತೆ.
shape of what?
Wheel.
Yes. Here, what we are going to do is we are going to provide the wheel in the cone shape. I think you have seen the ice cream cone, right? You have seen the ice cream cone, how it looks like, right? I think you have seen the ice cream cone, how it looks like. This is your ice cream cone. Now, if we cut in between, what this part, this part look like? It is going to look like this particular part. It will look like the cone. It is going to look like it is an tapered, right? So in similarly here, what we are going to do in this particular coning of wheels, here we are going to have the slope of 120 into the wheels. We are going to provide the slope of 120 into these particular wheels. What is the purpose? Can you guess any idea, anything why we are going to have this? Yes. Can you guess why we are going to provide this particular coning? See, here also we have provided 1 in 20. Here also we have provided 1 in 20 for the rails. Why we are going to provide it? Yes. Can it?
So that the train should not go out of track.
Yes. The reason why we have provided this slope is, see, when we are going to move in a straight track, right? When we are going to move in a straight track, right? What is going to happen? There is a possibility that the wheel may move, or the wheel will be moving continuously in and out, right? It will be moving in and out, right? And again, if we don't provide this particular slope, right, there is a possibility of derailment, right? There is a possibility of derailment. In order to avoid that, what we have provided is, in order to avoid the derailment in when it is going to move in a straight track, right, we have provided the flange, so that the wheel will not come out of the track. The wheels will not come out of the tracks. And also the wear and tear between the wear on the rail and the wear and tear on the rail and flange, rail and the wheel will be less. And it is going to help to maintain the proper alignment of the rail wheels in a straight track, right? I will repeat it. In a straight track, now these wheels will be continuously moving inside and outside, right? It will be continuously moving inside and outside. So, right here, there will be a locking will be there. This side, outer side, there will be locking will be there. It is going to move continuously inside and outside. If we don't provide the slope, right, or if we don't provide the coning, there will be the continuous wear and tear, and there is a possibility of derailment. And in order to avoid the possibility of derailment, here what we have provided is, we have provided the flange to the wheels. So even if it tries to move out, right, this flange is going to reduce, or it is going to avoid it, the derailment possibility, because this rail edge and your flanges are going to connect with each other. They are going to collide with each other, and again it is going to come inside. So there is no possibility of derailment is going to occur whenever we are going to provide the coning. So that is the purpose why we are going to provide the coning. Okay. The diameter of the wheels, right? I'll repeat it. The diameter of a wheel is a different, right? It is going to be different at a different cross section of a wheel when the train running on the straight track try to move in any direction. Okay. Now here what is going to happen is, see, if we consider this the flange, if we consider this your rail wheel, right? If we consider this your rail wheel, what is going to happen is when it when it is going to move on a straight track, what is going to happen? It tries to these both the wheels, they try to move in and out, right? And here, what is going to happen? The diameter is not the same at all the sections. Here also, this refers to the diameter. See, here the diameter is different. Here it is going to be the diameter is going to be different. So when it is going to move in and out, what is going to happen? The diameter is going to vary. I hope you are getting what is the diameter of varying diameter. See, here the diameter is less. Here the diameter is more. So what is happening is, when the train is running on a straight track, try to move in any direction. The diameter of the wheel increases over one rail, whereas in the diameter of the another side, it is going to be reduced on one side, right? Here, if it is moving this outside, what is going to happen? The diameter is going to increases, right? It is going to move outside. The diameter is going to decrease, and here the diameter is going to increase. So both side, what is going to happen? One side the diameter is going to increase, and one side the diameter is going to get reduced. So in order to have this proper this on a proper track, what we are going to do is we are going to provide the coning. So that is the reason why we are going to provide the coning. While wheel assembly is automatically forced to move back in its original central position due to the difference of the distances moved over the two rail. Since we have provided the flanges, right, what happens again automatically it is going to brought at a proper place. See, once it is moving outside, this is moving inside, right? What is happening? Due to these flange, it is going to attach to these particular rails. What is going to happen? Again, it is going to come in a proper position. Okay. Now, here, the distance between the inside edges of the flanges is generally kept less than the gauge of the track. You can see this is the B is nothing but the flange distance between the two wheels, and G is nothing but the gauge distance. Here, if you can observe, the flange distance between the two wheels it is going to be kept smaller than the gauge of the track. So this is how it is going to maintain. Now, there is a gap between the wheel flanges and running edges of the rail nearly 1 centimeter on either side. Here also 1 centimeter, here also 1 centimeter. And the wheels are going to have the slope of 1 in 20. This slope 1 in 20, that is the what we have provided. That itself, we call it as a coning of the wheels. Okay, or coning of wheels. Right? Now, why we are going to provide these particular coning is to reduce the wear and tear of the wheel flanges and the rail, right? To reduce the wear and tear between the wheel flanges and the rail, and to provide a possibility of lateral movement of the axle of the wheels, and to prevent, right? To prevent the wheels from slipping, right? It is going to prevent the slipping of the rail wheels. Okay, and to provide the smooth ride, and it is in order to negotiate the curve smoothly. Now, if we see now, if you see when the train is going to run on a straight track, it is going to move in and out. since here we are going to provide the flange, right? It is not going to have the derailment. Now, when into the curved track, right? On a curved track, right? What will happen is we will consider this as, right? We will consider, right? We will consider that it is going to have the right curve. Okay. Now, when it is going to have the right curve, what it is going to happen, right? If we are going to move like this, if we are going to move like this, now here it is going to have the more stress will come on, the larger diameter will come on the outside rail, and here it is going to have the smaller diameter. This side will be having the larger diameter because when we are going to ride, when we are going to take a turn on our bikes, the centrifugal force is going to act. So whenever we are going to turn in an opposite direction, we are going to move our body. So in the similar fashion, what is going to happen is when the train is going to take a turn, we will consider this is going to take at a right turn. So what happens in this particular wheel, it tries to move outside. So what happens? The diameter of the diameter of the wheel is going to increase. So what is going to happen is the diameter of the wheel thread is going to increase. Okay, while it is going to reduce at the other end. This prevents the further movement of the axle, right? It prevents the further movement and the axle retreats back its original position. This will be having the smaller diameter, this will be having the larger diameter, right? So this is going to prevent the derailmentum of the your train. Okay, now the coning of wheels on curves is not of much use, and the leading axle is due to its centrifugal movements, as it is going to move outside, right? It is going to prevent the derailment. Okay, now there is no free lateral momentum of the wheels, right? That is the disadvantage. We will see some of the disadvantages that whenever we are going to have the coning, there will be some of the disadvantages that we are going to have when we are going to have the coning effect. Now, what will happen is the pressure on the outside rail is more, right? Whereas in your inner rail is going to comparatively less. Your outside rail will be having the more pressure on it, and your inside rail will be having the less pressure. What will happen when the more amount of pressure will be there on the outside of this particular on the outside wheel? The outside wheel will be subjected to more wear and tear because, see, since it is going to have the larger outer diameter, the connection, the flange and the rail will be having the friction in between each other. So what will happen is this will result in wear of the outer rails, right? This is an outer rail, this is an inner rail, and this is an outer rail. Since there is a more amount of friction is going to occur between the two rails, right? What is going to happen is, right, there will be more amount of wear will be there on the outside rail. Okay, so this is what it happens when it is going to move on a curved track. Now, due to the centrifugal force, there is another disadvantage is due to the centrifugal force, the horizontal component tend to turn the reel out, and gauge is going to have a widening tendency. Since, right, due to the centrifugal force, what will happen? That the rail wheel try to come outside. It is going to try to move to outside. So what is going to happen? There will be the possibility of the gauge widening will be there, since there is a pressure is going to come on this particular wheel, and there is a friction. It's this flange tries to move this gauge outside. So what is going to happen? There is a possibility of the gauge changes will be there whenever there are curves are there. Okay. Now, if we don't provide the base plate, if we don't provide the base plate, right, under the sleepers, under the whenever there is a curve is there, if you don't provide the your base plate, I think you have seen what is a base plate, what is the exact work of the base plate in the previous class, right? The edge of the rail is going to get damaged. If you don't provide the sleeper, what is going to happen? The edge of the rail, as well as there is going to be a damage on the sleeper. So due to that, the stability of the track it may lose, and there is a possibility of the derailment, because whenever we are going to take an say turn, right, whenever we are going to take a turn outside, right, here more pressure is going to come, and if we don't provide the base plate at this particular position, right, it tries to come out, and there will be more pressure will be on this particular part, this and this particular part, right? So if we need to provide the base plate. If we don't provide the base plate, there is a possibility of breakage of this particular the base of the your rail, and also there is a possibility of damage to the sleeper, and there is a possibility of derailment. So we need to provide the base plate. Okay. Now, in order to eliminate the tilting of rails, right, what we will be doing is, here we will be having this tilt, right? Again, on a sleeper also, we are going to provide this tilt of around 120. See, here also we are going to provide, see, the rails are having the slope of 1 into 20. Why is the sleepers we have provided the edging? Okay, now edging is nothing but we have made the sleeper slope of 1 is to 20. That is nothing but we call it as an the edging of the sleeper, or the edging. Okay, so this is how it is going to reduce. This is how it is going to have the due to this slope of 120 or edging of the sleeper. What is going to happen? We are going to reduce the possibility of damage to the sleeper and the rails. Okay, so this providing of the slope of 1 is to 20 to this particular the sleepers, right? We call it as an edging. So here also, for coning of wheels is nothing but the slope we are going to provide to the wheels, whereas edging we call it as the slope what we are going to provide, right? What we are going to provide to the say sleeper. So that is nothing but we call it as an edging of wheels. Okay. So now let us. I think this is clear to you all. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Everyone? No replies?
Yes, sir.
Is it clear? Yes, Padmashri, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Is there any doubt?
Sir, can you repeat once again in last revision?
Which one? Which I need to repeat?
So coning.
Coning entirely. Now, this 20 minutes I have explained this only. You are not there, it seems.
So I was there. You asked if I have any doubt. That's why I told you. Can you just repeat it once?
Okay, I'll repeat it once again. No problem. Okay. Now, I think you know that the I think ice cream cone you have seen, right? Now, if we cut this particular portion here, you are going to get the tapered portion. Here you are going to get the tapered portion. So now in the rail wheel also, we are using this similar tapered portion on our wheels. Also, we will be using the similar tapered portion on our wheels. Okay. The reason why we are going to provide this tapered portion is, right, here if we don't provide the tapered portion, right, if we provide, suppose if we provide the straight portion over here, if we provide the straight portion over here, right, now these wheels will be continuously moving in and out, right, and there is a friction in between the rail and your wheel. Okay, rail and wheel. By providing this particular slope, the particularly the wear and tear in between your wear and tear between the wheel and say the rail is going to be get eliminated to some extent. Okay, so that is one of the major reason why we are going to provide the coning of wheels, as well as we are these particular wheels we are going to provide with these flanges. So when it is going to move inward and outward, right, even though if it is moving outward, right, if it is moving outward, due to these flanges, right, again there will be the friction between the your wheel and your rail. So whenever it is going to come out, these flanges is going to get it is going to have the contact with these rails. Again, it is going to come in an inside portion. So there is when we are going to provide the coning, right? Coning along with the flanges, it is not, there is a no possibility of derailment. Okay. So that is the reason why we are going to provide these particular cloning, right? Is it understood, Rasha, now? Is it
Yes,
clear?
sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Can I go ahead?
Yes.
Okay, we will see some of the advantages. It is going to reduce the wear and tear between the rail and wheel, and it is going to prevent the possibility of lateral movement, and it is going to provide the slipping, right? And it is going to give you the smooth ride, right? And when we are going to take the outside, right? When we are going to have the turn, right? What will going to happen? There will be the less pressure on the inside diameter on the inside wheel, and this is going to have a more pressure on the outside wheel. Why is we are going to take a right turn. So whenever we are going to take an turn on our roads, we bend outside. Why? In order to where there is a centrifugal force is going to be get developed. So what will happen here when it is there is an curve is there, right? Where there is a curve is there, the diameter of this particular outer wheel is going to increase. Why is it this try to come outside, whereas this will be coming to inside. Okay, so there will be more pressure will be on the outer rail, and there will be a less pressure on the inside rail of the inside wheels. Okay, so what will happen? So in order to avoid that, what we needed to provide, we needed to provide the base plate at the and also we need to provide the slope. Also, we need to provide the slope to the sleeper. This particular effect we call it as an edging. This particular effect, whenever we are going to provide the slope to the rails, slope to the sleepers, right? We call it as an edging. Since we have provided the slope to the sleepers where we are resting these rails, we are resting these rails on the sleepers. So again, this will be 1:20 will be maintained, and again we are going to have 1:20 to the 1:20 to the rail wheels. So we have provided the coning. So overall, it is going to maintain and the slope of around 1:20 to the entire permanent way. So here, this is how it is going to have the coning effect, or this is why the reason why we are going to provide the coning. Is it clear now? Yes. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sure. Okay. Now, can we go ahead with the creep of rails? Creep
So
of
what
rail.
is
What? Yes.
so any disadvantages is there, sir?
Which? What you are asking?
So in this, any disadvantages there?
Disadvantages are there? No, I have told you no disadvantages. Right? There is an outside inside there will be an outside pressure is going to be created more, right? When we are going to have the coning of wheels, there will be more pressure on these outside rail, right? Outside rail, there will be the more pressure we are going to create. This results in the wear of the outer rail. Okay, and what is going to happen? There is a possibility of a wide gauging. Your gauge is going to increase, right? Due to this, what is going to happen? Right, due to this coning effect, what we are going to have is, since the it is whenever in the turns, whenever we are going to take a turn, suppose this is a right turn. Now here, what is going to happen? The outside diameter of the rail is going to increase. Due to this particular wheel is trying to come outside, right? And there is a possibility of gauge widening, and there is a possibility of failure of the rail at the base section. So in order to avoid that, we are going to provide the edging, as well as we are going to provide the base plate over here in order to reduce the pressure on the outer rail. So the pressure is coming, and that is the disadvantage that we are going to have the coning. But coning become very necessary in order to prevent the derailment. We cannot avoid the coning. There is a disadvantage, but we cannot avoid the coning. Coning is a must in order to avoid the derailments. Is there any doubt, Sagar?
No, sir. No, sir.
Is it clear now? Yes,
Yes,
is
sir.
it clear?
Clear. Yes, sir.
Completely clear?
Yes, sir.
Shall I go ahead? Shall I go ahead?
Yes, sir. Sure.
Okay. Now, what is the purpose behind this coning? I'll repeat it once again. To keep the train in a central position of the rail, coning does not allow any sidewise movement on a straight track, right? To allow the wheels to move different distances on a curved track, thereby reduce the wear and tear. Okay, so this is what your your coning is. This is how your coning is going to help. Now, what do you mean by creeping of the rail? Creep of rail. Now, creep is going to be defined as, right? It is going to be defined as the longitudinal momentum of the rails with respect to the sleepers in the track. Okay, with respect to the sleepers in the track. Now, what is this longitudinal movement? What is this longitudinal movement that we are going to see, right? When a train is going to try to move in a forward direction, right? The creep is going to, this is, we call it as a longitudinal momentum of the rail, right? The longitudinal moment, if you are going to apply, see here, it is, there will be a friction. You are going to try to move towards the forward direction. What is going to happen? This try to move in a, say you are going to move in a forward direction, but the longitudinal movement, when you are trying to move your wheels on the rail, your rails will try to move in an opposite direction. This is nothing but we call it as the longitudinal momentum of the rail. So this we call it as a creep of rail. Is it clear? Is it clear? No?
Yes, sir.
Is it clear? No or yes? Clear or not clear?
Clear, sir. Clear.
Okay, I'll repeat it once again. When a train wheel, it is going to start its motion, the wheel will be moving in forward direction. That is, it is going to move in a forward direction. But when if we take the sleepers, it will try to move in the longitudinal direction of the rail wheel. So here it tries to move backside. Your wheel will be moving in a clockwise direction. This will move in a back direction. So this we call it as it is when the train is going to start at a starting position. Wheel is moving in a clockwise direction. Your sleeper is going to move in a backward direction or the longitudinal direction. That we call it as the creep. Okay, creep is common to all railway tracks, but varies magnitude considerably. Okay, it is going to common in all the tracks, right? But it is going to be vary from the say stopping. There will be a different type of creep will be there. While starting, there will be a different type of creep will be there. So this is at the starting point. Now, when the brakes are going to be applied, what is going to be when happen is when we try to apply the brake, right? Again, the wheel will be in a continuous direction, and since this is pulling, right? This is pulling. Now, what will happen to your vehicle, right? You are trying to apply the brake. Suppose if there is a skid is going to occur. Now, how you are going to fall in? You are going to fall in forward direction or you are going to fall in a backward direction? Yes? Yes. Consider your road as your, consider the road. Here, this is your bike. If you apply a brake, you want to stop, right? You want to stop over here, and if you are going to apply a brake. Now, suppose there is a skid is going to occur. Now, how you are going to move in a forward direction, slip will be there, or in a backward direction, slip will be there? Yes?
Forward.
Yes. So, when we are going to fall or when we are going to apply a brake, right? When we want to stop, right? There, the creep is going to the longitudinal momentum of your rail is going to occur in a forward direction. This is when it is going to happen when you want to stop the train. Is it clear? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
I will repeat it. No many replies. No many replies are coming. Is it clear? What is creep?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Shakir?
Yes, sir. Clear. Got it, sir.
Got it. So I'll repeat it once again. I'll repeat it once again.
So when the vehicle is moving in the forward direction, when the brake is applied, then the creep is also in the forward direction.
Yeah, that's what. Yes, correct. Who is Shakir is speaking or who? Who is speaking?
Shakir.
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 Yes, Shakir. Shakir. Yes, Shakir. I'll come to your point once again. Right. Now, suppose you are driving your bike, right? You are driving your bike, right? And if you want to apply a brake, now what will happen? Suppose you are going to there is a skid, there is a soil, or there are some of the pebbles are there on the roads, right? If you apply a brake, now if the bike slip is there, whether it will be in a forward direction or in a backward direction.
Forward direction.
Yes. So your direction of creep in rails also, right? Direction of creep in rail when the train is going to stop, it will be in a forward direction. But when you are going to start, right? When you are going to start, your wheels will be moving in a clockwise direction. It will be moving in a forward direction. But the direction of the creep will be in a backward direction. There is a friction between these two. So your your rails will try to move in a backward direction. So this is a starting point and this is at a stopping point. Is it clear?
Okay, sir.
Is it clear to you all?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, okay. Now, indications of creep. I'll repeat what is an exactly creep is once again. Creep in rails is defined as the longitudinal movement in a track in a direction of the motion of the locomotives. Creep is common to all railways and it is going to vary, right? It is going to vary from the place to place. It is going to vary. See, in a forward direction, we are going to have the different type of creep, right? And when we are going to stop the vehicle, we are going to have the forward creep. So this is the how the different types of creep is going to occur. Okay, and the creep is going to vary from place to place. This is a starting point and this is at the stopping point. Okay, now the creep is also going to occur it is going to have the different types of theories. We will see the indications of creep first, right? We will see what are the different indications of creep. The closing of successive expansion spaces at rail joints in the direction of creep and the opening out of the joints at a point from where it is going to start, and there is the marks are going to be get developed on the flanges and the webs of the rail made by the spikes and by scrapping of the scratching of the rail. Now, when it is going to move out, what kind of an indication it is going to give is the expansion joints. You have seen there will be the expansion joints will be there in between the rails. Okay. Now, the closing of successive expansion spaces will be there, right? When we are going to have the rail joint, right? When we are going to have the rail joint, now there is a possibility when the creep is going to occur, there will be as the longitudinal momentum of the wheel. I will show you, right? I'll show you the yesterday's this thing. Right. When there is an say creep is going to occur, that means if you are going to move forward and the creep is at the backward direction. Now, what is going to happen? Suppose there is an one more rail is over there. So the expansion joint is going to get reduced due to the momentum. The rails are going to slightly move. Okay, slightly move. So what is going to happen? The expansion joint in between the rail is going to get reduced. Okay, that is the one indication, right? In the closing of the successive expansion spaces at the rail joints in the direction of creep and right wherever in the direction of creep. Suppose it is going to move in an forward direction. So what will happen? The closing of the successive expansion spaces is going to occur and opening up out of joints where the creep is going to start. So there is a possibility of both the expansion and there is a possibility of the expansion as well as the gap is going to reduce. There are both the possibilities. It may increase, it may decrease. Okay, opening out and closing out, both possibility will be there in between the rail joint. So that is the one indication. And also, since it is going to have the opening and closing, again there is a much pressure is going to come on the flanges, right? This is your flange, right? This is your flange. Both these are nothing but the flange. Okay, the flanges and webs. This is your web. Okay, this is your head and this is your foot. This we call it as an flanges, and this is called as an web. So there is a pressure is going to come, and there will be the marking on the flanges and the webs, and also the spike heads. Okay, the spikes wherever we are going to use, there is a there is a pressure is going to come on the spikes. So the marking will be get created on these particular web, head, or the flanges and the spikes that we are going to use. So this is an indication of a creep. So this is an indication of creep. Okay, so I hope the things are getting clear. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I think we should stop here only. Again, in tomorrow's class, we will be studying regarding the different theories of creep, right? There are different theories of creep, and what are the effects of creep, what are the, how we are going to measure the creep, and how we are going to reduce the creep. This is all we are going to study in tomorrow's class. Do you have any doubt in today's class? Yes? Any doubt is there? Lars, any doubt?
No, sir.
Shakir, Rasha,
No, sir, no doubt.
and Shreyas.
Sir, no doubt.
Shreyas is not there. Okay, we'll see, check how many people are there. Okay, see, in the beginning of the class, there are 26 people, and now it is 22. Deepesh, is it
Yes, sir,
clear?
present. Yes, sir.
Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Rohit Patel,
Yes, sir. Clear.
is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Seema,
Yes, sir.
Seema Patel, clear?
Sir, clear, sir.
Yellova,
Yes, sir.
clear?
Sir, clear.
Okay. Then we are going to continue the creep in the next class. We are going to continue the creep in the next class. Okay. We'll end the session over here.